50 things you didn't know about Diary of a Wimpy Alien.
Or maybe you knew some of them, or all of them.
Let's start with something you didn't even want to know.
The silhouetted janitor in the andyoufilms logo is Jack Taylor, the lead character from Andyou's first feature film, Flashback.
The idea for Diary of a Wimpy Alien as a parody mashup came to us because the movies Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul, and Alien Covenant were both set to come out on the same Friday, May 19th, 2017.
While animator John Mandelli included Baby Greg putting on a pair of sunglasses as a fun, unscripted visual gag, we loved it so much it's been referenced in 7 episodes since.
For the first episode, we specifically spoofed story elements from the first Wimpy Kid film, including Greg's quest to achieve a yearbook superlative and his botched attempts at wrestling and safety patrol.
If Greg sounds a bit different in the first episode than he does in the rest of the series, it's because voice actor Audra Mandelli had a cold when she started recording her dialogue. It helped craft Greg's character, but of course she's been in better health for subsequent episodes. Audra also voices Manny, and of course Living Toon Greg in episodes 9 and 10.
Yes, I'm part of you now.
Weyland-Yutani Junior High is named after the nefarious company from the Alien franchise, and its loudspeaker system is a parody of the computer system Mother.
Class will begin in T-minus 7 minutes.
The school scenes were all filmed in a single day at Mainland High School in Daytona, Florida, the alma mater of director-producer Brendan Rogers, animator John Mandelli, and actor Andrew Ramos.
The characters depicted in the yearbook superlatives are all parodies of actual characters in the Alien franchise.
Ripley, a major player in the Alien franchises, is here introduced as a one-off rival and love interest for Greg. She's played by actor and producer Alea Figueroa, who is also the actor behind the mask of Greg himself for the vast majority of the Wimpy Alien series. Alea additionally performs masked as Jar Jar in episode 4, Jigsaw's puppet in episode 6, the Jiggy Morph in episode 9, and Greg's entire alien army in episode 2. As a producer, Alea handles all the casting, scheduling, budgeting, location management, and more for the Wimpy Alien series.
Of course, when Ripley is in a shot with Greg, someone else has to step into the mask. In this sequence, that was director-producer Brendan Rogers, whose height and broad shoulders led to a very hunched-over Greg.
Writer-producer Will Phillips cameoed in the first episode as this unfortunate professor. He would go on to play Rowley in later episodes, as well as provide voiceover work as Chucky in the main series and Roderick in the Greg Responds spin-off series. As a producer, Will handles writing, specialty prop production, visual effects, and music editing for the Wimpy Alien series.
This same facehugger plushie would go on to make appearances in 6 more Wimpy Alien episodes. It sustained so much wear and tear throughout the filming that it required a good washdown and a heavy amount of sewing for episode 8.
The majority of music used in the Wimpy Alien series is licensed stock music, including the main theme that anchors the first episode and would return in every episode after. It's a piece called Happy Driving Day by Bobby Cole.
The Nicofine soda can glimpsed in this shot is another callback to andyoufilms' first movie, Flashback, in which Nicofine is an evil soda company. The can is glimpsed in the majority of Anyou's parodies and all of the Diary of a Wimpy Alien episodes.
Director-producer Brendan Jackson Rogers cameoed here as Hudson, but would later play Fregley, a spag scientist, stand in for multiple masked characters, and provide voice work for Jigsaw. As a producer, Brendan handles directing, co-writing, storyboarding, and editing for the Wimpy Alien series.
Oh, that's just wrong.
This guy was played by actor Andrew Ramos, the star of Flashback, remember? From our logo. In Wimpy Alien, he also plays Freddy, Pennywise, a variety of masked horror morphs, and this spag scientist.
Episode 2, Predator Rules, came to be thanks to the popularity of the first Wimpy Alien video. It was Andyou's first parody sequel and expanded the spoofing to the Predator character. If the first episode compared growing up to being an alien, this one compared the rivalry between brothers to the epic rivalry between 2 sci-fi movie monsters.
Predator Rules directly parodied multiple elements from the second Wimpy Kid film, Roderick Rules, including the brothers' conflict at a house party and coming together to clean up the house before their parents come home.
Curiously, Roderick was originally written into the first Wimpy Alien script as a human brother to Alien Greg, but he was cut from the script to focus the short video on exclusively school elements. We got lucky there since we weren't even considering a sequel at the time.
Predator Roderick's band Loaded Cannon is a parody of Wimpy Kid Roderick's band Loaded Diaper.
Actor Ryan Forrestal, who both plays and voices Roderick in the main Wimpy Alien episodes, also played this speared party guest, the recast Greg Xenley in episode 4, and a spag scientist in episode 10.
Didn't HQ say this thing was dangerous?
Bonus fact, Ryan plays the drums, and his personal set stood in for Roderick's drums in episode 2.
Greg having the grid blood pattern on his head was pointed out by many fans in comments on the first episode. Truth be told, it was the best, affordable alien mask we could find, and that's why Greg is the grid alien. But to explain where Greg got the scar, we decided to include a net as one of Predator's pranks.
Greg's parents, Frank and Susan, also make their appearance in episode 2. Michelle Guerin would return as Susan in episode 3. Chris Kurzer would go on to play Frank in episodes 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10.
Alea Figueroa, who plays the girl Greg gets pants before, would go on to reappear in episode 3, play Jar Jar's stunt double in episode 4, and portray Latricia Malvey in episodes 9 and 10.
You wrecked our lemonade!
Charlie Stevens, who plays this unfazed party guest, would return to play Pothole in episodes 9 and 10. Or maybe Pothole attended this party. You decide.
Greg's battle cry,
It's on!
would become a repeated gag in episodes 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10.
It is so on!
Predator's unmasked face is only seen twice in the series, in episodes 2 and 4.
As Greg, Alea does her own stunt work, but this table toss remains the one she's most proud of.
Some of Roderick's coolest weapons, including this extendable spear and this bolo from episode 3, were crafted by Adam Henriksen, who would appear on camera multiple times throughout the series, as this party guest, Jason in episode 5, multiple horror morphs in episodes 9 and 10, and this spag scientist.
For episode 3, we chose to parody the third Wimpy Kid film, Dog Days. The references here include the family visiting a country club, Greg losing his trunks in a pool, Roderick singing at a party, and the military academy Spag Union being mashed together with the Colonial Marines from Aliens.
Bonus fact, the country club is named Sulaco as a reference to the Marines' ship in Aliens.
After Greg's stint in the pool, his mask and hands would never be the same thanks to the after effects of the chlorine. They became deflated and floppier. Ultimately, a towel-wrapped flower pot was inserted into the back of the mask to return it to its proper shape. Meanwhile, Greg's super floppy hands became a running gag in the Greg Responds spin-off series.
We see a lot of comments about Roderick having human legs in this shot and nice leg hair. But even though you can't see it clearly, he's wearing a spray-painted pair of tights with an orange-yellow hue and black spots. Oh well, guess that wasn't worth doing.
Actor Jacob Glassmeyer, who portrayed Dutch, aka the Terminator robot in this episode, is an actual Army veteran. He would return for episodes 8 and 10 and has appeared in a number of other And You films.
The headlines on Dutch's newspapers are references to incidents in the first episode, the second episode, and even earlier in this episode.
The Spag Union Marines logo is a direct parody of the Spag School logo seen in Dog Days. The logo would return on hats and Dutch's patch in episode 8.
The dart guns the Spag troops used to knock out Greg and Frank also return in episode 8, wielded by Dutch, and in episode 10 by Ripley 3.
The Spag standard issue flamethrower would return in Greg's possession in episode 5, creating some viewer confusion, clarified in Greg Responds Volume 9. An identical Spag flamethrower would later be wielded by Ripley 3 in episodes 8 and 10.
Pred-Alien hybrid baby Manny made his first visual appearance in episode 3. Similar to the close call with a human Roderick cut from episode 1, a facehugger version of Manny was cut from the first draft script of episode 2. Thank goodness.
Bonus fact, both a scale doll puppet and an adult-sized mask are used to portray Manny in this episode, for wides and close-ups respectively.
Actor Rebecca Walters, glimpsed in this episode as a guitar player and victim of Manny's rampage, would return to the Wimpy Alien series in episode 4 as the recast Susan Xenley and appears in numerous other And You films.
Before Dutch evolved into a direct Terminator parody, we planned on him being more of a synthetic android from the Alien universe. For the sake of production budget, coolness, and comedy, Terminator became the first non-Alien universe antagonist introduced into the series. And it set the precedent for expanding the scope of the parody series by bringing in a whole cavalcade of non-alien villains moving forward.
Bonus fact, Dutch losing his head would become a reoccurring motif.
Since Greg's romantic interests shift from Holly in this episode to the Ripley clones in episode 8, it's often asked what happened to Holly. In the Greg Responds series, it's shown that Greg wrote her a love letter in Volume 3 and that she didn't have a positive reaction to it in Volume 11. Also in Volume 11, Holly makes an online message cameo finalizing her disinterest in Greg. Go Ripley!
For episode 4, we turn to the film The Wrong Hall, spoofing its road trip, its confessions game, and of course, its infamous recasting of the main characters.
Jar Jar was chosen to replace the xenomorph as the alien playing Greg, since he seemed like the most polar opposite alien to the scary design of the xenomorph. His introduction in the opening cartoon is a direct parody of our own parody, Parodyception.
Jar Jar is voiced at different times by both Predator actor Ryan Forrestall and animator John Mendelli based on availability. We thought they both were fantastic at the iconic voice.
Parody props feature heavily throughout the series. These Gunions, Gungan-flavored onion rings, seem to make Jar Jar somewhat cannibalistic. Bonus fact, notice the paint from Jar Jar's hands rubbing off all over the bag.
Jar Jar Greg stepping in poop and the memory of getting his tongue stuck are both direct references to happenings in Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. Star Wars fans' outrage to Jar Jar's hijinks wasn't dissimilar to Wimpy Kid fans' outrage toward the long-haul recast.
Dalek Roderick, meanwhile, was built out of a series of lampshades and thrift store junk, including a toilet plunger, kitchen utensils, Christmas ornaments, and a flashlight.
Greg and Roderick view this episode on YouTube. This marked the first time the series would break the fourth wall, internally acknowledging its own existence as a web series. The YouTube screen would go on to appear throughout the Greg Responds series, which is all one massive fourth wall break.
And as if having both an original cast family and a recast family in the same episode wasn't weird enough, due to a scheduling conflict, Xenomorph Greg's mom, the original Susan Xenley, was also actually recast in this episode. Jen Bonner stepped into the role with gusto, and has portrayed the real Susan ever since, returning in episodes 6, 9, and 10.
During the family fight, while Greg's Nana remains oblivious to the battle, the theme song for another And You parody can be heard on the TV.
Greg hitting Jar Jar with a breakaway bottle happened because we had a pair of them left over as props from another shoot. We put the final breakaway bottle to use when Jar Jar returned in Greg Responds.
Jar Jar's speech about the cultural significance of remakes and sequels is meant as a counter-argument to haters of both The Phantom Menace and The Long Haul. Who do you agree with? It's pretty clear who Greg agrees with. And that's all for now.
Hope you learned something new.
Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for 50 more things you didn't know about episodes 5 through 7.